Hello, everyone. My name is Joanna Fabicon, and I'm the Senior Librarian for the Children's Services Department at the Los Angeles Public Library. Today, I am joined by Rita Law, Children's Librarian from the Chinatown branch. It is my pleasure to welcome you today to today's Your Author series, featuring authors Helen Wu-Wang and Janet Wang. Today, Helen and Janet will be discussing their new book, Lucky Cat. Please feel free to use the chat box to send in your questions and comments, and they'll be answered toward the end of the program. Also, don't forget to email EC Department at LAPL, right there, for your chance to be entered into an opportunity drawing to win a copy of Lucky Cat.
Hello, everyone. We also want to thank our generous donors, the Lenore S. and Bernard A. Greenberg Fund, as well as the Library Foundation and our amazing behind-the-scenes staff for helping the library bring these author and illustration programs to you virtually. Thank you all so much. We would also like to recognize and acknowledge the first people of this land. We recognize and acknowledge their elders, past and present, as well as their descendants. For more information on which territory you may reside, check out native-land.ca.
Today's Your Author program book, Lucky Cat, is a heartwarming story about an immigrant family in America and a new friend their daughter June makes as they prepare to open their restaurant. Today, we are joined by Helen and Janet. Helen and Janet, along with Melody Chang, are the co-hosts of Asian Boss Girl, a podcast for the modern-day Asian American woman. Asian Boss Girl, or ABG, was founded to share their experiences as 9-to-5 professional working women, balancing careers, social lives, cultural identities, and personal development while living in the city of Los Angeles. ABG is now a media company that they run full-time, and Lucky Cat is their first children's book. So let's go ahead and give a warm welcome to Helen and Janet. Get them up on the screen. Yay!
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh, it is an incredible honor to be here today. Thank you so much for spending your Friday afternoon with us. My name is Helen. We have Janet on as well.
Hello.
And we are so excited to share with you all Lucky Cat. I'm just going to apologize ahead of time for my voice. I have a 1-year-old who caught his first fever, and I still breathe in all his amazing baby smells. So I think I caught what he has. But trust me, Janet's voice is like butter. So we'll even each other out here. So without further ado, we are going to start today's reading. We'll pull up the slides. Can we see the slides? There we go.
Perfect. Awesome. So that's the beautiful cover illustrated by Eunice Chen. And if we can flip to the opening page, some of the wonderful details that Eunice had done were these illustrations that show the lovely family we're about to learn about. Mama, Baba, and June have a new home. You're going to like it here, Mama said to June. But June wasn't so sure.
Inside, it felt like no one had been there for a while. Oh, look, there's a Lucky Cat here, Mama said. Did you know that they bring families good luck? Baba's eyes lit up. Some people even say that Lucky Cats are magic. With this one's help, we'll have this restaurant up and running in no time.
But June wasn't so sure about that either. Do we even know how to make sushi, Mama? She asked over dinner that night. We'll figure it out, Mama said, passing her a soft, steaming bow.
Hmm.
Plus, we've got Lucky Cat to help us. Great, June said, unimpressed.
A few nights later, June looked out the window at the stars. Everyone else was fast asleep. They needed to get up early to be ready for the grand opening of the restaurant the next day. I hope we get some customers tomorrow, June wished from the bottom of her heart.
All of a sudden, June heard a noise from downstairs. Was someone there? Heart pounding, she went to take a look.
It was Lucky Cat! You're real? June said in disbelief. Lucky Cat didn't reply, but just handed her a broom. Maybe Mama was right. Perhaps Lucky Cat was just what they needed. All right, June said. Let's do this.
Together, Lucky Cat and June got everything ready. Lucky Cat tried her best, but things didn't always go as planned. Sometimes she needed a bit of help.
Though she definitely didn't need help tasting the food. Setting up a restaurant was hard work. By the time they were done, June was exhausted.
In the morning, Mama and Baba couldn't believe their eyes. Wow, Mama said. Junie, did you do all of this last night? I had a bit of help, June said, looking over at Lucky Cat. Then the bell rang, and their first customers were here.
As Mama and Baba prepared the food, Lucky Cat tried to help, but Lucky Cat's tail knocked over the vinegar bottle into the food. Mama served the dish before June could stop her.
Yuck, the customer said. Why is this so sour?
Oof. Over the next few days, Lucky Cat made some more mistakes.
After a while, they had no customers. Baba sighed and looked disappointed. It's okay, Mama said. Perhaps the restaurant business isn't for us. Why don't we try something else?
This time, the family tried a laundromat. But doing laundry was harder than it looked.
This is the worst laundromat I've ever used, the customer screamed. You're paying for my suit. Okay, so maybe laundry isn't for us either, Mama said. There are plenty of other businesses to try.
I like the voice there, Janet. But the convenience store didn't work so well either. Or the plant shop.
Or the coffee shop. The only thing Lucky Cat could do well was eat bows. But that wasn't going to make them any money. Nothing was right, and June knew exactly who to blame.
It's your fault, she shouted at Lucky Cat. You're supposed to be lucky, but everything you do goes wrong. I'm never believing in you again.
Later, Mama and Baba held June tight. I know this hasn't been easy, Baba said. It feels like doors keep closing, but the right one will open soon. After all, Lucky Cat will help us. No, she won't, June said in a small voice. Lucky Cat doesn't bring us any luck at all. Well, I think we've been very lucky, Mama said. We've been so fortunate to have each other during this time. Family is most important, Baba agreed. And if we continue to try our best and never give up, good things will come.
As June looked down at her bow, she felt sad. She realized Lucky Cat had been trying her best, even if she was clumsy. Maybe Mama and Baba were right. Maybe June shouldn't have said those hurtful things. Then she looked more closely at the bow. It was steaming and delicious.
That's it, she said, leaping to her feet. We can make these. Mama and Baba looked unsure, but June knew she was right. They're my favorite. It'd be like a piece of home. I'm sure many people will love them just like we do.
Sure enough, the homemade steamed buns were a hit. People lined up around the block to get them. June's family had finally found their perfect fit.
June loved that her family's business was doing well, but she wished that Lucky Cat was there to share their happiness. "I'm sorry, Lucky Cat," she said to the statue sadly. "I never should have yelled at you. I wish you could come back and see how much people love our bows, like you did. Thank you for always trying your best and never giving up on our family." But the statue stayed lifeless.
June turned away to start preparing for their dinner customers. But then she heard a noise.
It was Lucky Cat. Yay!
Woohoo! As time went by, their family bows became a neighborhood favorite. Lucky Cat was always right there with them, welcoming customers and helping out in her own special way.
So the next time you see a Lucky Cat, remember the real reason it's lucky. Behind each one is a family just like yours, working hard for a better tomorrow. The end.
I hope you all enjoyed that.
It was wonderful. Thank you for reading that to us. Well, now that you're done with your story, we would love to ask you some questions, Helen and Janet. And we appreciate you taking the time to go through these with us about your creative process. So my question for you is, can you tell us what made you decide to write this book?
Yeah, so we have a podcast that we started back in September of 2017. And we started it because as three women who grew up in the 90s, we noticed that throughout every stage of our lives, whether it was as a child, not recollecting any books with an Asian character lead, or in high school, all of us, despite growing up on different coasts and having very different childhoods, all of us would feel this sense of elation whenever we saw someone who looked remotely Asian on a billboard or on our television screens or in the workforce. You know, when the reality was that we had very few API role models because most of them were in film or television and we couldn't relate to them in many ways. So we started the podcast Asian Boss Girl to address that latter stage of our lives, and we unintentionally became a source for many young API women and men who could finally relate to someone within the media space. And now that we've stepped into this position, our goal with our company is to use our voice and share our stories through mediums not only limited to podcasting, but to mediums like books as well. And that's why Lucky Cat came to be. And we're so incredibly happy that it is out there. It is a story that came from personal experience, seeing many of our immigrant family members and family friends open up restaurants, plant shops, laundromats, ginseng shops, clothing stores, so many different types of stores. And having a physical location and generating business meant that you were making it in America. And as young girls, the symbol of a lucky cat at the front of each of these establishments was a symbol of hope for immigrant families. So it is just so cool that we were able to bring this childhood memory to life with Lucky Cat. And we're so happy that it's out there.
Thank you. I loved hearing that.
I mean, that dovetails really well into my next question, as well as some of the comments that I've been reading and reactions so far as you were going over your book. Grown-ups who have shared this Lucky Cat with their kids, reading it to the church kids last Sunday and how much they loved it. Oh, extra love from Nebraska coming to you. And also, like, thank you for writing this book and how much of an inspiration it was. All of that, I'm sure. Can you tell us a little bit more of what do you hope readers take away from your book?
Yeah, I think on a storyline level, we hope to impart an awareness of immigrants and the immigrant experience, and also a familiarity with the nuances of Asian culture. You can see small things in the book in the illustration, like the throw blanket that Lucky Cat put on June is a type of quilted blanket that is very common in a lot of Asian American homes. The bows that she eats. Even on the last page, you'll see on the book jackets, the illustrations of the orange, which is usually a sign of luck and prosperity in our culture. Just making these things more commonplace and familiar, whether you are an Asian reader or not. And, you know, for us, we podcast and we speak to an older audience, but the more that we do the work that we do, we realize how powerful it can be to just present our components of our culture visually, audio, book-wise, to young children, so that it becomes normalized at an early age and things don't feel foreign when you grow up later. And on a thematic level, more universally, we really hope that people take away from this book an appreciation for perseverance, for hard work, for a preference for hope in times of hardship, and most importantly, a feeling of empowerment that you really can make your own luck.
I love that. Now, I know that, the Lucky Cat was in many places of business, but personally, especially now, do you have a Lucky Cat at home?
I have 3 Lego Lucky Cat sets that I kind of hoarded once I knew that we were going to write and publish this book, just in case all the Lucky Cat Legos got sold out, which I don't think they are. But I have those 3, and then I have a few Lucky Cat trinkets lying around the house that I bought from night markets and various events. But yes, Lucky Cats are usually seen in the front of an establishment to welcome in guests with a wave of its paw, and also to ward off evil. But definitely have some. I need to start collecting more. We also have a Lucky Cat necklace, right, Janet?
We do, yeah.
Yeah.
It was gifted to us from a listener from a while ago. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's very sweet.
Wait, I have a follow-up question for the Lego Lucky Cat. How long did it take you to assemble that? And each set more difficult than the other.
This big? How long did it take me? I think I took my time. Maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour. I had a show on it. I think we were just it took a little longer than you would expect.
I love that. I didn't even know they made that. So it makes me want to go out and get one, but it's probably limited.
I know, me too. Okay, I'm going to request if we can have time, people working behind the scenes to find a Lego Lucky Cat and put it on the...
Yes, link it.
Do you have any advice for young people who want to become authors or illustrators after going through this process of creating a book on your own?
Yeah, for us, a lot of how we started this process was by reading and researching tons of children's books. So I would say that if this is something you want to do, read a lot of books. If you want to become an illustrator, consume a lot of illustrations. And then on the flip side, do a lot of writing. We've gotten a lot of practice on just storytelling through our podcast. And if you want to become an illustrator, just practice drawing everything and anything, small and big. Just because the more that you immerse yourself as a creator and a consumer, the more likely you are to happen upon chance opportunities like we did.
Mm-hmm. You're so right. And as a librarian, I have to encourage people to continue to read no matter what, just for your brain to stay active and for you to learn, because that's always going to be something you're going to be doing your whole life, is learning. So speaking of learning, what is something you know now that you wish you knew when you were first starting this journey to become an author?
It's a long process to write a children's book, or any book for that matter. It probably took us a little over a year, but it is a very rewarding process to see it out in bookstores and to be able to read it to you all and share the story with you all. It's worth it. And I would also say to develop your own unique voice and find a story that really holds meaning to you, and one that you can feel passionately about, because when you do, the words come much easier onto the page. We wrote this so quickly, and obviously the editing, going back, making sure it all sounds good and cohesive took a little longer, but I feel like the story just came out so much quicker for us because we were able to relate to the story so much.
That's great. Thank you.
What was the actual time frame from the idea to it's published? I have a book in my hands.
It might have been a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we started mid 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So yes, I guess patience, we're going to add that to anyone.
Lots of patience, yeah.
Well, you mentioned researching and reading. In that vein, who are some current authors and illustrators that you find inspiring?
Yes. One amazing author is Joanna Ho. She's the author of Eyes That Kiss in the Corners, which was a book that did very well, celebrating Asian American culture and also celebrating for young girls. And we were lucky enough to have the opportunity to chat with her. And she was so warm and welcoming and just so open to helping out us in any way that that she could, as for us to be new authors, and her offering any tips and insight. She's also an educator and teacher, and so we thought that that was really wonderful that she carries this mission with her throughout her work. And not only that, she's actually expanded to young adult novels as well. She recently came out with The Silence That Binds Us. So we love looking up to her as a wonderful author and someone who's quite accomplished in the community. Another author is Eva Chen. She has written multiple children's books, not only celebrating her Asian heritage, but also specifically celebrating a diverse pool of very powerful women, which we think is awesome, that she introduces that to kids in such a easy and tangible way. In her previous career, she was also working in like fashion journalism. So she has quite a substantial following on social media. And we love that she uses her influence in such a profound way. She oftentimes will promote donations for school teachers and really promotes literacy and education on culture and all of that. So that's she shares a similar mission as we do, and we really respect the way that she goes about that. The third person we would love for you all to check out, we have to shout out our illustrator for Lucky Cat, Eunice Chen. Eunice is amazing. She is an Asian American woman herself. She's based in New York City, and prior to becoming an illustrator full-time, she was also an elementary school teacher. So she's very well versed in the space of literacy, and does amazing work, as you can see from the book. You can check her out at Eunice Sketches on social media, and also eunisketches.com.
Yeah, I loved her art. And I know the people that you're talking about, I love them too. And I follow Eva Chen. She's like the original influencer, I want to say, like, because now she works for Instagram, and
She does.
She is really amazing. So I love that. Thank you for talking about those authors. And I know we have their books because we have them at my branch. So make sure you check those books out on our website. I'm sure they're as available as ebooks as well. And well, speaking of social media, how do you connect with your fans? Like, what is a good form of contact for you to, have that stream of communication between you? Is it social media, Twitter, Instagram? Is it email? How would you advise somebody to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the most efficient way would be through our general inbox, which is hello@asianbossgirl.com. You can also find us on Instagram, where we are very active, Asian Boss Girl. In our DMs, we do see those in the comment section of our post. I would say the best way is through email. We also have a community, a Discord community that you can sign up. We can probably drop the link if you wanted to check us out there, but we have over 4,000 members on there who are fairly active. So that's a good way to get in touch with each other. And if you wanted to reach us as well, give us any comments, feedback, or anything. So yeah, that's a good way for us to interact.
And for those watching right now, if you have a question that you have for Janet or Helen, go ahead and put it in the comments and we will pose it now. Well, take your chance, shoot your shot. But for right now, can you tell us, what are you working on now?
Yes, yeah. So now that Lucky Cat is out in the world, we're going to be doing some great promotion, specifically in the month of January for the new year, which is also the month of Lunar New Year. We're going to be doing a book drive and working with corporate and different organization donors. We'll be doing more readings like this one at local schools in the LA area, as well as bookstores. And we'll be hosting a live in-person event in Los Angeles later in January. So we'll be sharing more details of that on social, but a lot of focus on Lucky Cat for the beginning of the year. And for those of you who listen to us, we are a podcast. We started out as a podcast and we continue to do that. we are going to be evolving our show to video format. So that's going to be a big project for us in the new year. And we've started kind of mini shows as well. So what began as one show now has morphed into 4 different shows being released twice a week. So that will continue in the new year. And we're also going to be doing a rebrand. So very exciting things to come for both Lucky Cat and the rest of our organization.
Well, we're really excited to see more of Lucky Cat in the future. I hope, like, there's so many great ideas. I hope there's also another book brewing in there too, because we would love to hear more of your stories and see the visuals as well. If you're ready for another endeavor, another picture book.
We would love to. Yeah, it's a lot of these projects kind of depend on how well the first one does. So we're very passionate about getting Lucky Cat into the hands of as many kids as possible, so that we can have more Lucky Cat stories following up.
Awesome. Very excited. And just a reminder, in that spirit of getting books into your hands, that people watching, you do have an opportunity drawing going on to get a copy of Lucky Cat as well. So don't forget to email ectdepartment@lapl.org. I think we have enough for about 20 copies out there. So let us know. We're so glad all of you can join us today, whether you're live or watching our recording. Okay, questions are still available. Go ahead and drop them in the comments. But now we're going to head over to what I love about your author is the rapid fire questions. As much as we love details, we love finding out, like, what are you thinking right now, right at this moment? So we are going to ask some rapid fire questions just for fun. Allows us to learn a little more about you, like even more than this past half hour. So we will ask you quickly and you tell us which you prefer. I mean, the only problem with rapid fire question is that I always want to find out more after that. Why did you answer? But I will try to stick to format as much as possible. So let's go ahead and, and I also wanted to mention in the comments that we added book links for people to check out the books that Janet mentioned and recommended. And it looks like Eunice Chen's website is on there and Instagram is on there too. I also wanted to say, like, that picture spread of Lucky Cat reuniting with him and then following it with Lucky Cat is Back was just so beautiful and heartwarming. And to me, like, that's a standalone in itself. So yay, Eunice, if you're there, wherever you are. All right, let's go ahead and get started. First rapid fire question. Favorite children's book?
I'll go first. At this moment, because I'm reading a lot of children's books to my baby, I am loving this book called Here and Now by Julia Denos, Denos. It's about how the world continues to move around you, but it invites you to slow down and appreciate just how interconnected our world is, appreciating the here and now. So I don't know if it's his favorite book, but it's one of my favorites.
My favorite children's book is an oldie, but a goodie, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. It was a book that first, I still remember that was the first book that I had the light bulb go on about, like, the structure of a storyline, how there's like a problem, a solution, character, all that. So love that book.
Oh, yay. Okay, I want to interrupt the rapid fire questions with a question from the audience really quickly. And let's see if we can bring it up. It is, would ABG ever consider doing a Boba book reading event?
Ooh.
That is a very good idea. We would consider it. That's the answer. We would consider it. Yes. We are planning to do a large sort of, the book's already out, but a launch sort of party in January. It'll be open up to the public. So just follow us on our Instagram socials and we'll let you know when that is, but sometime in January.
I mean, as if people weren't hungry enough reading this book.
Yeah.
Is it going to be at a Boba place? Ooh, okay. Well, I'll stay tuned.
Boba will be there. Boba will be catered, most likely.
I know.
Yeah.
You can't have like an Asian American event without milk tea, right? I don't think that's allowed. Okay. So
Actually, sorry. Before we get, there are a few more comments. Someone's crossing their fingers for NorCal Bay Area book event tour, hoping that's on the list. Yeah, maybe. Crossing fingers.
Maybe.
And let's see. Ooh, we have more about the book. Did anything not make it into the final Lucky Cat book that you wish you did? Or are there any stories about how the early versions of Lucky Cat morphed into the final version?
So one thing that we wanted in the book that actually it was a little too late in the game, we introduced like, oh, maybe there's there's one of the pages where there's photo frames in the back, and I was like, oh, what do we put, myself, Mel, and Janet in the photo frame, so it's like a little Easter egg for people to find. It probably would have been our silhouette or something, but it was already too late. We're like, darn. So that's one thing we kind of wish got into the book, and something we'll think about for the next book, to make sure that's in an illustration. But yeah, Janet, is there anything that you can think of?
Yeah, storyline wise, I don't think so. I mean, it definitely took I remember it took longer for us to decide on a direction than it, like once we decided on Lucky Cat and that concept, the writing came pretty quickly. But oh my gosh, I barely even remember like that early on. I just like what other ideas that we had.
We'd have to go back to our drafts.
Yeah. But Lucky Cat itself, I feel like most every part of the storyline that we wanted to make it in, made it in. So, yeah.
Well, an important storyline was the name of the character, and that is related to our next question from the audience. And that is June a special name to one of the ABGs?
Was it a special name?
I was like, I just remember we went through a lot of names and just none of them felt right. And I think there was a universal, when we came to June, we're like, oh, June sounds like cute, youthful, but also like unique. So yeah, I don't know. That was the one that stuck with us.
Yeah. I mean, it's like naming a baby. It's very hard to do.
It is. There's no right answer.
Yes. Oh, sorry. That would be a challenge. But our next audience question is, what was the most challenging part of the writing process?
I think for us, the way we sort of approached this was we had sort of like a storyboard of the different scenes that we wanted. And I believe each of us took one of the different stories and wrote it out. And obviously with three of us, myself, Janet, and Mel, it has to be cohesive, right? As if it's just one voice. So when we went to go read through, we made a lot of different adjustments here and there. But yeah, having three people, three different ideas, it's very good just for the creativity process of the book. But I think getting, pen to paper, or I guess finger to keyboard, it's the cohesiveness takes a little longer, to edit down. The hardest part is the creative process, though.
Yeah. And I think also just the overall process of this was our first children's book, so we had no concept of what the timeline would look like. And I just remember thinking at times should it be taking this long? Now going through it, we understand why there's so many parts to it, but I think it was also kind of challenging to keep the patience and keep kind of over the course of a year, always having that, in the back of our heads.
I love all these questions that are coming from the audience. We have another one in regards to an author or illustrator. Is there one that you would love to collaborate with for a future book?
Ooh, it's a good question. Yeah. One illustrator whose books I'm loving right now, Julia Kuo, Kuo. I believe she's illustrated for I Dream of Popo and oh my gosh, I was going to say everything. The Michelle.
Yo movie.
Yeah, not that movie. Oh my gosh, what was it? We just posted on our Asian Boss Girl post too. I forget what it's called, but she illustrates that one too, and I love the illustrations there. So she's someone that I sort of just logged in the back of my mind of she'd be amazing for someone to work with. And she also, I believe, worked on Rise, which is a book that my husband put out there, and some of the illustrations there too. So yeah, she is incredible.
Oh, I have the book name. It's Let's Do Everything and Nothing. It was a
Do
recent
everything and
bestseller.
nothing.
Oh yeah, I've read that book.
That's what I mean. Everything, everywhere, all at once. It's like let's do everything and nothing. It's there's the one word similar.
Yeah, it checks out everything that's going around like in the world. I think these are great centering books for a baby, so, or like a young person.
Oh, and reading. Speaking of reading to a young person, we got a question from Lila who wanted to ask Helen, how often do you read this book to your son?
So he actually points to this book when we have like two little shelves behind my my chair, and he always points to this book, and he'll actually sit and read through the whole thing. There are books where I read the first page and he just knocks it out of my hand, but he actually really likes Lucky Cat, and I'm surprised because it's definitely more for like a slightly older, maybe like 3+. But we read it maybe like once every 2 days. I tried to switch it up a little bit. He also really likes Wiggle Wiggle Baby, which is very different from this book. But we read that book to him every night, the Wiggle Wiggle Baby one, and come up with different dances. And then I'll pull Lucky Cat down when he's just like, look. Yeah, so it's pretty wild, but it's so cool to see that he actually enjoys looking through the pages of Lucky Cat. Yeah.
I love it. All of these practices is that things that we promote at the library every day, like the repeated readings, the movement, the wiggling, and yeah, I feel like when you started talking about favorite illustrators, I just wanted to jump in and be like, oh, and there's this person and this person. Were you the same? I was going to be like, oh, here, but then this would have gone a lot longer. Talk off camera. It looks like we are at the end of the audience questions. Let's go back to our regularly scheduled program of rapid fire. We're up to question number 2. That is from Rita.
Yes. I was thinking about this, like in terms of, we asked about a favorite children's book. What about like when you were growing up, which character did you most identify with and you think you're most like somebody that you aspired to be?
Ooh.
Or maybe just somebody who reminded you of yourself.
Oh, there was a book, I'm trying to remember, it was like a little ballerina book when I was growing up is it called Angelina Ballerina or something? I remember reading that one a lot and loving that main character. I think it was a lot about her like working hard to achieve like a role in a recital or something.
Yes, she's a mouse. And
she's a
beautiful
mouse.
ballerina mouse.
And Janet is a dancer, so that book influenced me to become a dancer. Oh, for me, I would say Sailor Venus, because she's silly and she can stand up for herself and beat up any bad guys. But she also stands for love and light, which is I think I'm someone whose glass is always half full. So I'm like, oh, maybe that's someone that I, related to. Or I just really liked her character too.
Yeah, I definitely know Sailor Venus.
All right, next question. Good advice you've received.
I've been told don't think too much. And for an overthinker, very good advice. Go with your gut.
I would say failing to plan is planning to fail is one that I've repeatedly said over and over again to myself. And it could not be more true with a baby now, especially if you're traveling or doing anything with a baby. Failing to plan is planning to fail. So that's one that's definitely ringing true these days.
As an aside, that's like one of my favorite Taylor Swift lyrics from her new album, from one of her songs. I was like, I know Joanna will know. We're both Swifties.
Wait, what song is it?
It's one of the last ones.
Mastermind.
I was just
Mastermind. Yeah, it's Mastermind.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah.
I was like, oh, I love that quote. Thank you for reminding me. So, speaking of advice, if you could tell yourself something 10 years ago, Like, what would you say to yourself from 10 years ago?
I would say to not allow my ego or insecurities to have such a loud voice in my head, and to not let fear hold me back as much as it did, because life is too short, honestly. So, yes, if I could tell myself something 10 years ago, I don't know if I would have listened to it, but what I would have said.
I think I would have told myself that everything will work out as it should. So there's no need to worry. But I probably also would not have listened to myself. So
Yeah, I think worry is part of the process,
it's
right?
part of the
Like,
process.
you
Yeah.
have to agonize like a little bit. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it feels like whatever the result is not as hard earned. But even though that's not true. Yeah, thank you. That's good advice for yourself, and for everybody who's listening and watching.
Let's pivot back to food that you can eat every day.
Raw salmon for me. Hands down. Sushi grade raw salmon.
Yes. That's very Helen.
Yes.
I would say I love oatmeal. I don't know. I'm a big like oatmeal, blueberries, and bananas, and almond butter and cinnamon. That's like my go-to. My go-to. I love
a
oatmeal.
variety.
Yeah.
So that you don't get bored too.
Yeah.
I love that. Different sides of the food spectrum. So, what is something that you're excited about in the year 2023?
Ooh. I'm married, but I haven't had like my ceremony yet. So that's something that we're starting to look into and plan. And hopefully in 2023 we'll find a date. But that's gonna be fun. That's something I'm looking forward to.
Whoa, congratulations. It's going to be so fun and beautiful.
Oh, let's see. What am I excited about? There's so much to be excited about in 2023. I recently am in a new relationship. So I guess I would say that is one thing that I'm very excited to see develop over the course of 2023.
Yes, me too.
We support you.
Okay, now we get even more rapid with this or that. Ready?
Okay.
Mountains or the beach?
Beach 60%, mountains 40%.
I have to say mountains for me.
What about when you're working? Do you like music or do you like it quiet?
Oof. Quiet. I have like two answers for all these. I'm just gonna the top answer, quiet.
Quiet for me as well.
Day or night?
Now actually day. Used to be night. Day.
I'm still a night owl. Night.
So Helen, do you think it was having a baby that kind of
absolutely. Yeah. My bedtime was always like 2-3 a.m., which is terrible, but I just be up like working usually at night, which is also terrible. But now I'm like, okay, I have to be up at 5:30, so I have to be a day person. And I love the sun too, and it's nice and sunny out. It's just boosts my mood all the time.
That's true. You really need that in the wintertime because the sun sets so early.
Yeah.
Now, summer or winter?
Summer, but I love Christmas. Summer. See, I have like two answers for everything. I can't think.
Winter for me. I like winter.
Oh.
I love colder weather.
All right. I wonder if we can guess the answer for this one because of the title of your book. But when it comes down to it, cat or dog?
I'll go with Janet's answer.
My answer? Oh man, this is actually one that's hard too, because I would actually say cat, but I recently have like a new dog in my life, and I feel like now I'm becoming like 50-50.
Whoa!
Yeah.
All right, we have to do a lucky dog.
A lucky dog, yeah.
That's right. You have to write a dog book next to make it
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say dog too. My sister has a 100-pound golden retriever that acts like a puppy, and he's the cutest thing ever. So, dog, but
are so happy.
We love the lucky cats.
Yeah.
Good representation. You have a fictional cat and a real dog. So
Yeah.
I think that balances it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, everyone. That is the end of all our questions. I just want to remind you to all the viewers out there to email ecdept@lapl.org for an opportunity to win a copy of Lucky Cat. And we're shipping only within the continental United States. So apologies to our international viewers. But hopefully there's a lot of opportunities to see them in person, and hopefully you'll be able to get the book somehow, because it's a wonderful read, and this has been so much fun to have you here.
Thank you so much for having us. It was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Let's
Thank you
see.
to everyone who's joined. Thank you to the Los Angeles Public Library, Rita, Joanna, and the whole team. This has been such a wonderful experience.
Yay!
Glad to give you the spotlight. And to the audience, thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this conversation with our authors, Helen Wu and Janet Wang. And there's a third author, but she couldn't be here today. Remember to visit lapl.org/events to see more of our amazing programs. And our next Your Author program is set for January 2023. So please check the Your Author landing page at lapl.org/yourauthor for more updated information.
We also want to mention that the Los Angeles Public Library is celebrating its 150th anniversary. Yay, LAPL! So please check out the 150th celebration landing page at lapl.org/150 for all the upcoming events, and also join the 150th anniversary challenge. Lots of books to read, lots of activities to do throughout all the city. So until next time, we truly appreciate all your support. The success of all our library programs could not happen without viewers like you. So thank you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.